Today, you will learn 3 concrete ways you can choose to start your own parts work on yourself. And when you stay to the end, I'm going to share with you a very affirming final bonus way. Before we start, let me know in the comments if you have tried IFS on your own. How did you start? I'm really curious to hear what kind of strategies you are using. You're about to learn the 3 runways. The reason I call them runways is I think of you as the pilot doing your parts work. You are leaving the ordinary, tangible place, the normal plane of reality that we are in daily life that you're in while you're watching this. And you are going into another level. You are going into the dimension where your parts reside. So how are you going to take off? All right, runway number 1, the recent. Think of a recent situation. It could be maybe in the last week that upset you or that seems to stick with you and you keep going back there in your mind. Take out your journal and start to ask some questions about that experience. Could be, wow, what was going on there? It could even be a comment. When we do parts work, we really relate to our parts as if they were real people because they seem to respond that way. They seem to be real entities that can connect with us. So you can say something, for example, if it was a friend of yours who'd had a big experience, you could say something like, wow, that was really tough. Or you can share about how you're feeling. Oh, I just don't understand. Or, oh, I keep going back to remembering this time. And then what you do is you just pause after you write that down and you see if there's a response. And when there's a response, you write that down. The neat thing is you don't actually have to ask a question to get a response. And it's just like a real conversation, like I mentioned. But what I'm trying to free you from is trying to find the perfect words to open your session. There's no magical words. This is simply how you naturally feel, what comes out of you when you think of that recent situation. Runway number 2, open invitation. This is the runway for just inviting whatever is inside, whatever is wanting your attention to come and be with you. If you have meditated before, you probably have been informed of or noticed how thoughts will come in when we are supposedly doing nothing. And I think of these thoughts as messages, as entreaties from our parts reaching out. Different parts are thinking, wow, you're finally sitting here listening to your inner world. I want to tell you about this thing. When you sit down to do solo IFS, that is the ideal time to invite these parts to come because there are always parts that would want your attention. Just like when you sit down to do meditation, there are always thoughts that come. Open invitation is you simply create that invitation, however you would say it. It could be, what's needing attention right now? It could be, who wants to talk to me? It could be, I'm here. What shall I work on? It's that invitation. Runway number 3, the here and now. Notice what is going on inside of you. That could be what physical sensations you're experiencing. It could be an emotion that you're feeling. And you observe that in your writing. You basically validate to your inner world and to any parts that may be giving you these sensations or emotions, or maybe there's a presence you feel. You simply observe that. So it could be, I feel this strange sensation in my stomach. Or it could be, there's an intense pressure in my head. There's a whole range from the very specific to the more esoteric. And for each of us, what you notice inside of you is going to be different. So, none of these words are magical. It's simply observing, all right, here's what's going on. Let's go to the bonus information I promised you. Hey, this is your self-directed parts work. You can simply start by launching without any plan. You do not need to have a particular runway set out. There's no magic or set way to do solo parts work. The important thing through all of this is that you trust yourself, that you turn towards yourself for a sense of what's going to be right. And let's say you decide to sit down and do IFS on yourself and you just have something that's bursting to come out, then go with that. If you are an information gatherer, you like to have all your ducks in a row to begin. And even if you're spontaneous, I'm more of that second one, you can click on my next video, which is 2 important questions to ask your parts at the end of a session. So you could open with the 3 runways or your spontaneous, natural idea, and then you can end with this important practice. I will see you there at that video. If you didn't know already, you can download a free MP3 on my website. It's an hour-long guide, the link is down below, that will take you through the IFS process, including these runways. See you on my site, it's seekdeeply.com.